All right, as usual, begin with ABS website. Joining us in the studio is Mr. Chidi Eleke, journalist and public affairs analyst. Welcome.
Thank you for having me.
All right, we'll begin with ABS website and the stories we have there. Contractor seeks adequate funding to accelerate pace of work at National Housing Scheme, Isiago.
General elections. Federal government orders closure of borders.
General elections. Anambra CP holds joint security meeting, reassures electorate of secure environment.
Petrol stations in Oka yet to comply with IPMAN directive on reduction of fuel prices.
General elections, over 72 million Nigerians expected to vote. Those are the major stories that we have on ABS website. For more, you can visit the website www.absradiotv.com for details of these and more, and for other trending videos. All right, we'll begin with the National Housing Scheme. We are seeing the story there, contractors seeking adequate funding to accelerate the pace of work there.
Oh yes, that would be a very good one. As a matter of fact, I must confess that I partook in that interview, and you could see the joy on the faces of workers. You don't imagine what it will look like to have workers, civil servants who have places they can put their head to rest after a day's job and call it their own.
You partook as one of the contractors?
Oh no, as an interviewer. I am a journalist, of course. Yes. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is that it will be very beautiful for civil servants to have a place just over there at Ishago where they can call their own. It is no longer a matter of politicians being the one owning houses everywhere. Let civil servants own houses for once.
Why does it seem as if housing schemes by both federal level and other levels have not been able to succeed in this provision of housing necessary for the middle class?
Anyway, maybe I should think this is going to be one that will succeed because first it's made up of the high class, middle class, and even the low income earners. And there are going to be several categories of houses in that place from what the contractor said. There are going to be 4-bedroom flats. There are going to be 2 and even 1-bedroom flat. About housing schemes not succeeding, I should only say that mobilization of contractors and ability to see to its end may just put an end to all this.
Have work started?
Yes, work has started.
Okay, thank you. Let's now move over to the next item, which is about the general elections that is built for tomorrow. Federal government orders closure of borders. It happened last week. We didn't even know when it was reopened, and now the federal government has ordered for its closure again.
Yes, I particularly like this, especially in borders up north, where there have been allegations that people from Chad, Niger, and several other countries coming to vote. Of course, they partook in the campaign because we saw a governor from outside the country coming to campaign for a presidential candidate. And in the kind of crowd that was seen in most of the campaign rallies, it was suspected that people may have crossed the border to come and do this. So it would just be fair that now that elections are holding tomorrow, that the borders are closed again. Anyway, for the border, for us not knowing when the borders were opened, of course, we should have been told, just the same way we have been told now that the border is closing. But what is most important is that it is closing again after a postponement of the election. Okay,
and just like you said, we saw them come from across the nations to witness the campaign, but we didn't see them go. We may have to look at the papers now.
Yes, let's begin with, on the front page of the Daily Sun, 24 hours to elections, I have no reason to quit, says Yakubu. As Buhari Atiku fight for 72 million votes tomorrow. Go on.
Go on. Joda, Kolade, Anya, others, caution INEC, and politicians. And up here we have this one that says, Ohaneze, IPOB, Masol, raise concern about Igbo safety. Down here, we must have faith in INEC. And this one is coming from the President, Buhari, promises security of voters. Controversy trials appeal court ruling on Zamfara APC candidates. Yes, we saw that one yesterday. And finally, from the Sun newspaper, I've got to vote Buhari out. Article tells, we've got to vote Buhari out. Article tells Nigerians. Okay, with a rider there, 12 presidential candidates endorse President Buhari. These are the stories making round in Daily Sun newspaper. Let's first of all see the banner headline, 24 hours to election. I have no reason to quit, says Yakubu, because we know that this call for him to resign because of what happened last week.
Yes, of course, there's no reason to do so.
Yes.
Elections have been postponed in the past. We have had postponements in 2011. We have had one in 2015. And in fact, in that of 2011, I was a partaker in that election. We were already in the field, moving out to cover the election, to provide media coverage for the election when we received calls that the election has been postponed. It may not be exactly the same situation like what we had last week, but that doesn't call for a resignation of the chairman. As a matter of fact, if the chairman heeds to this call and resigns, who do you put? That will put us several months or years back. So I just think the prof is good at his work, and we should let him continue. He has promised us a fair and credible election, and we have no reason, at least for now, to doubt him.
Okay, let's look at this story up here. Ohaneze IPOB must raise concern about Igbo's safety. What does that mean?
Yes, I think last night there was a meeting of Ohaneze Igbo. And in fact, this morning, I think it was this morning, I read a press release signed by the President General, Dr. Nyanwodo, asking the security agencies to ensure that there is security for our people up north who will be voting. I particularly like Nyanwodo, but this call gladdens my heart even the more, especially considering that we have close to 9 million voters, as they say, up north, who will be voting, who are Igbo people. We have like over 2 million in Lagos, and yes, so they said. I haven't had that statistics to myself. Okay. But the fact that there are Igbos who will be voting up north, who may not be coming back home to vote here, calls for reason to ask security agencies to ensure that they are covered, they are fully safe.
All right, they are covered and fully saved, but do you feel that these security agencies will be able to do that? We've seen 2011 still remains green in our memories when we remember the post-election violence that happened after the result had been announced. Do you think the security agencies will deliver in protecting lives and property of residents, not just the Igbos?
Okay. The security agencies have a mandate, and their mandate is to save life. Just like we have been told, the military should not be deployed in cases of election, but we are seeing a case in 2019 where the military have already been deployed to several places. If that will help us achieve security, then it will just be fair, because just as the former President Jonathan will say that no one life, no one Nigerian's life is worth his ambition. So even as we seek to change government, even as we seek to better the society, we shouldn't use human lives to sacrifice. Okay. So this is where I think also that the security or even the president should assure us maybe that bringing the army into it is just to secure lives, because there are fears already that these people are being deployed, especially down here, to maybe cage us. There are pictures flying on the social media where 3 armed army men are standing and aiming at the box, hoping that someone will come and pull the box and get fired.
So they pull their own
Can
trigger.
we still fear?
All right, let's move to the next paper. There are several other stories, but I think we might still be able to take. We might still take them in the papers. 72.7 million Nigerians to vote tomorrow. That's coming from INEC. Lagos, Kaduna, Katsina lead in PVC collection. 11,228,582 uncollected PVCs returned to CBN to be distributed after polls. Elections. U.S. Embassy closes Abuja, Lagos offices. Defense headquarters disown soldiers displaying president's campaign sign. Nigeria stands as a democracy, no worldly hand can deter us. That's coming from Buhari. Iran withdraws support for Ayman el-Zawzaki. That's coming from a reliable source. We have beside the Daily Times there, the nameplate there, vote buying. EFCC takes fight to bureau the change operators. That's the stories we have on the Daily Times. So, the statistics, 72.7 million Nigerians to vote tomorrow.
Gladdens the mind. Even though we are about 109.
Okay, let's take the Punch also together so that we now consider them at the same time. 72,775,502 PVCs collected. Buhari says, let's have faith in INEC. INEC Chair Yakubu rejects resignation call. Vote out incumbent like in 2015, article tells Nigerians. Federal government orders IOCs to pay $20 billion in back taxes. News of my resignation, fake, deliberate propaganda. That's coming from Vice President Osibanjo. 3 caught for planning to kidnap Lagos businessman for 60 million ransom. That's also on the front page. So let's now consider the stories, the statistics that we are having there. 72 million. You were trying to say something.
Yes, I was trying to say that Nigeria, the total population of this country is about 190 million, and here we have 72 million Nigerians going to vote. It gladdens the heart considering that there, of course, are people who are not eligible. They may constitute the bigger percentage that are at home, but that doesn't justify it anyway. Then secondly, we should look at achieving at least 70 million votes in this election, no matter where.
Are you that optimistic? We've not seen such.
Yes, I am.
That's more than 85%. Turnout.
No, that's over 90.
Over 90%.
That's over 90. And let me tell you, I am optimistic. And the reason I am is that voter awareness is high now. And a lot of people, it may interest you that if you go to the hinterlands in Anambra here, the average woman who sells Okpa in Eke or who sells Ogiri in Afo may outdiscuss you with politics. The people are very aware, they are ready to vote. All we need are things like telling them how this could be done, like INEC has told us that there are colors of the ballot papers, that the president is this color, the National Assembly, that's the Senate and House of Reps. They just need to know, even though they can't read, but they are ready to come out. And I'm optimistic that by tomorrow, from 8 o'clock in the morning, the place will be flooded. All the polling units will be flooded.
All right, all the polling units will be flooded. Let's look at the Nation newspaper now. It's still the statistics making the headlines. INEC clears 72.7 million. Okay, on the Guardian, over 11 million registered persons won't vote. I think the Guardian is taking it from another dimension. INEC puts collected PVCs at 72 million. Lagos has highest number. We also have why international community cares about Nigeria's political stability. Fashola seeks deportation of foreigners without work permits. Those are the major stories that we have on the front page of The Guardian. Then on The Nation, we have INEC clears 72.7 million to vote. Katsina, Taraba, KB, Zamfara top PVC stable. Excitement as Osibanjo walks in Ilorin. And we also have, on top of the name mass there, Buhari EFCC worry over influx of foreign currencies. Government to Supreme Court stay off Olongen's case. Those are the major stories that we have on The Nation. Let's look at the issue of the EFCC and the influx of foreign currencies ahead of this election. They raised their alarm yesterday.
I should think the whole reason for this is to try to stem vote buying. But can we exactly stem vote buying? But what should worry us the more is that this time it is coming in dollars. I wonder why EFCC didn't storm the Port Harcourt venue of the PDP National Convention, where people took away as much as $10,000 as delegates. And now that the common man on the street, maybe one woman somewhere in the hinterlands is going to take away 2,000 naira, they are coming. That's not to justify vote buying anyway. What I'm trying to say is that if we are stopping vote buying, let it start from the primary election stage. We knew how much was expended in Port Harcourt. We knew what other parties did. We even the APC in power today, if it weren't for the fact that the president went unopposed as a candidate, we knew what happened in 2015. So if we are stopping vote buying, we should stop it holistically. But again, the question is, how can Nigeria election be this expensive to the point that dollar could be deployed for vote buying? I am still looking at that because I wonder if one woman in Anyam alone will collect as much as $10
and as
vote.
This video that is trending now,
when if you give her 2,000 naira, she'll be happier, and you are giving money that is worth over 10,000 naira when she doesn't exactly know the value of
what it means.
Give her first and find out if she doesn't know.
but the challenge remains that it seems that the calls for vote buying are not being heeded. Because with this kind of influx, that shows that politicians, the major players, are actually gearing up seriously to market put in merchandise the votes. Yes. All right, David, before maybe you give us your final words as we round up.
But as you give us that final one, I'm sure you want to mention something about the resignation rumor of the Vice President yesterday. Okay,
yes, I read about that, and just like I said in the case of the INEC chairman, the Vice President may just be circumspect about his resignation. He may just be trying to be mature in that. And the reason I say this is that people are saying that he should have resigned, and the rumor of that resignation emanated from the fact that he was shut out of the Security Council meeting where even governors were able to attend. Is that justified? It is not.
Okay.
Anybody would have at least would have thrown in the towel, but maybe he is trying to be mature and doesn't want to plunge the country into trouble and decided to stay on.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, Mr. David Chideleke, public affairs analyst and journalist, for joining us this morning on Newspaper Review.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you for coming too.